Hello everyone, I Jhalak Patel, Assistant Professor at LG Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication. Welcomes you to the session of Power Electronics. Today I am going to discuss about Unit 2, that is Control Rectifiers, with topic Complete Analysis of Semiconductor. So let's start the session. First of all, as we discussed in the last lecture, that the analysis of semiconductor is based on its waveform. So we already discussed about the waveforms of semiconductor in the last lecture. So now, based on this waveform, let's first calculate the average load voltage. So average load voltage is basically given by VLDC. It is equal to 1 upon pi integration from alpha to pi v omega t. Now here omega t is because of the firing angle, because of alpha firing angle is always calculated with respect to omega t. That's why here integration with respect to omega t is taken. Now if we integrate this term, here range is from alpha to pi, because if you see this waveform, here this waveform occurs from the range alpha to pi. That's why here limit of integration is from alpha to pi. Now if we integrate the term, then it will be equal to Vm as it is upon pi. Integration of sine is minus cos, that's why minus Vm upon pi cos omega t, limit from alpha to pi. That's why it looks like minus Vm upon pi cos pi minus cos alpha. If we rearrange the values, the value of cos pi is minus 1, so it can be written as VLDC is equal to Vm upon pi into 1 plus cos alpha. This is the final equation of average load voltage. Now if we want to calculate the root mean square value of load voltage, then it will be like this: VL RMS is equal to 1 upon pi integration from alpha to pi Vm sin omega t. Here root mean square value is taken, that's why we square the overall value of voltage Vm. VLDC square means Vm square sin square omega t raised to 1 by 2. Now if we integrate this, then it can be like this. Here sin square omega t is 1 minus cos 2 omega t upon 2. Means if we write the equation for sin square theta, then it is 1 minus cos 2 theta upon 2. Now if we put the values in the equation, it will be like this: VL RMS is equal to Vm square upon pi as it is. Integration from alpha to pi, in place of sin square omega t we write 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2 raised to 1 by 2. Now it can be written as Vm as it is, because Vm square and over here the power is 1 by 2, so Vm as a constant 1 upon 2 pi. Here in the denominator 2 is present, that's why we write here 1 upon 2 pi. Then we take the integration from alpha to pi. Over here 1 is present, no other term is present over here, that's why integration with respect to only omega t minus alpha to pi. Here cos 2 omega t is there, that's why we separate the two terms, 1 and minus cos 2 omega t. So it can be written like this: from alpha to pi cos 2 omega t d omega t. Now if we integrate this term, then there is no term of omega t present over here. That means integration of 1 is only omega t, and we have to apply the limit. Same way, if we want to integrate this term, then over here the omega t is present with cos trigonometric function. Then integration of cos is sin omega t. Then the answer can be written like this: Vm upon root 2 1 upon pi omega t from alpha to pi. Same way, minus 1 upon 2 pi. Over here the multiplication term is with 1 upon 2 pi, that's why over here 1 upon 2 pi into cos 2 omega t. Integration of cos 2 omega t is sin 2 omega t, and limit is from alpha to pi, that's why alpha to pi raised to 1 by 2. So overall it can be written like this: 1 upon Vm upon root 2, 1 upon pi as it is, we put the limit, so it is pi minus alpha minus 1 upon 2 pi sine 2 pi minus sine 2 alpha. Now this sine 2 pi is 0, so the final answer is based on this equation is this: Vm upon root 2, 1 upon pi as it is, pi minus alpha limit as it is, plus sine 2 alpha divided by 2 raised to 1 by 2. So this is our RMS value of voltage. Now here we can also write down this equation, this Vm upon root 2 as Vs RMS, because Vm upon root 2 is nothing but the RMS value. That's why we written over here the RMS value for this equation. Now moving towards the next parameter, which is normalized average output voltage. Now for normalized average output voltage, it is a ratio of normal DC voltage divided by the maximum voltage. We already have the value of DC voltage earlier, this equation. This is the DC voltage equation. Now we have to find out the maximum value for this DC voltage and then divide this VLDC by that maximum value, so it gives us the normalized value. So let's find it. Normalized value is Vn equal to VLDC upon VLDC maximum. For maximum value we have to put the angle alpha is equal to 0. Now why we put this alpha equal to 0? Because cos 0 gives us the maximum value and we have to find out over here the maximum value. That's why we put firing angle or delay angle as 0 degree. So it can be written like this: VLDC is equal to Vm upon pi as it is, into bracket 1 plus cos alpha. Now in place of alpha we put over here 0 degree, that's why it is 2 Vm upon pi. Now you have to apply the both equations and find out the normalized average output voltage. So it is like this. This is our DC voltage and this is maximum value. Vm can be cancelled out, pi cancel out, so 1 upon 2 is 0.5 into this term as it is 1 plus cos alpha. So final normalized voltage Vn is equal to 0.5 into 1 plus cos alpha. Next is form factor. We already discussed about the form factors basic in the half wave control rectifier, that it is a ratio of RMS voltage to DC voltage. So over here again VL RMS upon VL DC is set. We have to apply the values of VL RMS and VL DC in this equation. So it can be written like this: value of VL RMS is Vm upon root 2 into 1 upon pi into pi minus alpha plus sine 2 alpha by 2 raised to 1 by 2. We already find this RMS value in the previous slides, RMS value. And this is our DC voltage value. This is our DC voltage value that we put over here. So if we divide these two terms, then we can find out the form factor by using this 1 upon 2 pi into pi minus alpha. This term remains as it is, pi minus alpha plus sine 2 alpha by 2 as it is. Here 1 plus cos alpha upon pi as it is. Only Vm will be cancelled out and here there is no term of root 2 present. That's why we write over here like this. Okay, here the power is 1 by 2, so ultimately it becomes the root 2. That's why we write this like. Next is here the RMS value of fundamental component of supply current. Here for RMS value of supply current and fundamental component of supply current will be considered. First we consider the supply current component. So it can be denoted as IS1 RMS. It is mainly due to SCR1. That's why here we denote it like S1, IS1 RMS. Fundamental component due to SCR1, it is equal to 2 root 2 I0 upon pi into cos alpha by 2. We take these values as it is and use in the other equations in the analysis. Next is RMS value of supply current. It is denoted by IS RMS value of supply current, and it is given by I0 into pi minus alpha upon pi raised to 1 by 2, in which alpha is firing angle or delay angle. I0 is the maximum current value. Now moving towards the next component, that is DSF or FPF, means displacement factor or fundamental power factor. Now it is calculated as a cosine of that particular angle, or we can also say it as a power factor. Now normally in the circuits, power factor is given by R upon Z, means the resistive part upon impedance part. Here also it is denoted by cos phi, and it is called as displacement factor or fundamental power factor. This function can also be used for the other analysis like harmonic analysis, then reactive power calculation or true power calculation that we discuss later on. Next is CDF. CDF means current distribution factor. It is mainly the ratio of current for the fundamental component, supply current in the range of fundamental component value and the original supply current value. So we already have the value of supply current with fundamental value and both supply current's original value. So we put both the values over here. The supply current fundamental value is IS1 RMS, that is equal to 2√2 upon pi I0 cos alpha by 2, and supply current value is I0 into pi minus alpha upon pi raised to 1 by 2. Now if we divide this or if we take the ratio of these terms, then I0 will be cancelled out. So it looks like this: 2√2 cos alpha by 2 upon pi into pi minus alpha raised to 1 by 2. So this is our current distribution factor. Next is supply power factor, which is denoted by PF. It is mainly the multiplication of supply voltage RMS value into fundamental component value IS1 RMS, this one IS1 RMS, fundamental component of supply current, cos phi that we already discussed in the previous slide, it is FPF or displacement factor, divided by the original supply voltage and supply current. So now let's put the values of all the components. But in this equation, this VS1 RMS and VS RMS means voltage value for the fundamental component and voltage value for original supply voltage will almost equal to 1 or almost same in the ideal circuit. So that's why we take over here as 1. This ratio is 1 because both value is almost equivalent. Now what is remaining in this equation? PF is equal to IS1 upon IS into cos phi. So let's do with it. It is like this because of AC means supply purely sinusoidal. That's why it is IS1 in RMS upon IS RMS, means fundamental value of current component for supply current and the supply current value into cos phi. So here cosine term is nothing but FPF. If you remember the previous slides, then cos phi is denoted as FPF, and if you remember the CDF equation, then CDF equation is again the RMS value of fundamental component divided by the supply current value. So this IS1 upon IS RMS is nothing but CDF, and this cos phi is nothing but the fundamental power factor. So that means PF is nothing but multiplication of CDF and FPF. So it can be written like this: CDF into FPF. We have both the values CDF as well as FPF. So simply put the values of CDF and FPF in this equation. So we get in place of CDF we can write 2√2 cos alpha by 2 upon pi into pi minus alpha raised to 1 by 2 into, in place of FPF it can be cos alpha by 2. Now in the last equation, if you see this cos alpha by 2 and cos alpha by 2, so it becomes cos square alpha by 2. So this equation can be written like this: 2√2 cos square alpha by 2 upon pi minus alpha raised to 1 by 2. But over here 2 times cos square alpha can also be written like 1 plus cos alpha, because cos square alpha by 2 can be written as 1 plus cos alpha by 2. So 2 times cos square alpha by 2 can be written as 1 plus cos alpha. So this equation will becomes like this. Root 2 as it is, 2 times cos square alpha by 2 is equal to nothing but 1 plus cos alpha, divide by pi into pi minus alpha raised to 1 by 2. Next is about the input harmonic factor. Input harmonic factor is the ratio of the harmonic components of current towards its fundamental value of supply current. So this is the harmonic component from Is RMS, means supply current, minus fundamental value of that current component divided by the fundamental value of current component. So we have all the values of current, supply current as well as the RMS current. So we have to put the equation in these values. So it will be like this: Is RMS and I1 RMS value. So it is like this. We have all the values, so it looks like this. So this is the input harmonic factor. There is also another analysis term like reactive power factor, true power, and some numericals related to it that we discuss in the next lecture. Up to then, if you have any query in this lecture, you can message me on WhatsApp. Thank you for watching.